In a world of shiny helmets, spandex jumpsuits, and strange monsters, these heroes force feed you a bowl of awesome that is the Tokudon Podcast. Join Carl and Rob as they haphazardly welcome you to the exciting genre of Tokusatsu. Now, open wide.
What's up, everybody? How we doing?
What's up, guys? What up?
What's up? How are we feeling this evening? Or day? I don't even know what it is anymore.
It is the Sundist Day. The
Sundist.
Sunnet Day. Yes.
The sun of days.
The sun of days that is lying because it is freaking cold.
It is goddamn cold outside. Oh my goodness.
I worked pretty much yesterday, and coming home, I was like, it got like colder the closer I got.
Yeah, that's fair.
to getting home. I'm like, wow, this is gonna be bad. like normally I have like a constant chill anymore, so I'm usually like battling that. But now it's like fighting Sub-Zero every morning, bro. Like,
yeah. No, we were out with some friends last night, and we like left, and we're like, oh, it's snowing. That's weird. I wonder how the roads are. It was fine. The roads were fine in general, honestly. But like the snow, and then when we left, we were like, why is it an actual blizzard outside? This is bullshit.
Why am I dying? Why am I dying?
Why is
my
thing
life
right
age
now
dropping? I'm taking chip damage right now, aren't I?
Why is Frost procking? Oh my god.
I'm frosted. Damn it. Babe, get to the car.
Good lord.
Did you even fat roll? Could you even fat roll?
No, I mean, you can, but you slow down when Frost procs, and then you take chunk of damage.
But like, imagine fighting. Like, obviously, I would only get so far if I were a Dark Souls champion, because the frost areas would be off limits to me. I would never get those upgrades.
It's like ever. Space when you're in a mech, right? Is that what we're talking here?
Yes, exactly. I am strictly
the whole
Terra.
Z-axis thing. It is. Yes. It doesn't work.
I am absolutely all about gravity and maintaining my sense of equilibria, because the moment it's off, like I'm already not graceful, bro. Like I am already the ox in the china shop. So like, legitimately, anything that throws that off even a little is like detrimental to me.
Oh my
like,
goodness.
No, legit.
That's awesome.
I used to like roller coasters, man. I used to really dig roller coasters. Now I think I rode one, Christ, it must have been 2 years ago, right? 2 years ago was the last time I was on a roller coaster, and I remember I was on, and being on it was easy.
Yeah.
Coming off of it, though, my body was like, did we just get into a car crash?
Is that what's happening?
Like, are you okay? Did we just run from somebody? Why is your heart racing? Are you okay? I'm like, okay, probably goodness. Not that for a while.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah,
that's awesome.
That's just nostalgia trip.
That's fine.
So hi guys, welcome to Tokudon.
Yeah, no, you can throw me in space. I'll do whatever you want as long as I get the mech. I don't give a flying fart.
Like I've always romanticized about it, but honestly, yeah, like I've been suspended by one of those it's one of those jumping places. I forget the general name for like all of them is like jump fun.
The
indoor place that smells like
whatever.
Feet and child sweat. It's the grossest place ever.
Okay.
But I was there, and they were like, hey, do you want to do the where they drag you and people go limpless? It's funny, but I was like, yeah, I'll try it, but I didn't know if I could, bear the weight. And I'm like, yeah, let me get in it, and I didn't feel comfortable at all. It's like really like, I'm like, nope, I'm not gonna like this at all. So, but I bailed on that. But even just them lifting me up, I was like, oh no, I need to control this. So like,
did you just start to like drift in one direction?
It was more like leaning forward. I was like,
okay.
Oh no. They were like, yeah, kind of lock your hips. I'm like, how do you lock your hip? Like,
everything is locked. What do you want from me?
like I can't get any more clenched right now, lady. You know how tight this is gonna get?
Oh my goodness. I'm all for it. This is why your favorite is Easy 8, and I will take literally anything. So it's fine.
Easy 8 is such a beauty. Mwah, I love it. Plus the backpack, man. I could put anything in that.
Quite literally.
Like,
you have your whole arsenal in that
like a
motherfucker.
mini Gundam.
Yeah, you could go straight up Seraphim and just pop a mini Gundam in there.
Exactly.
I'm surprised those like build shows didn't do something like that, where they have like an actual like SD Gundam like pop out of his backpack.
Was he ever featured in that, like, at all?
Yeah. They've had several Easy 8s. There was an entire team of Easy 8s.
Ooh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
So they did like a 3-version thing where like one was like the long range reconnaissance. It had the huge radar dish on its head. It was that one, the Ecos type.
Nice.
I think it's Ecos.
Nice.
And then there was a melee mid-range fighter, and then they had the like actual sniper kind of thing. Like he was the artillery almost. It was pretty sick. And it was in I think it was Build Fighters Try. And the one that was like the leader, like mid-range, whatever, he had like electric knuckles. So he could run up and just like punch people.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, he had the little like the bullpup machine gun that they have, but then he would just run up like
Shido used his arm, so hey, why not?
He was like, we should encourage this more.
Man, I remember when I initially watched Easy 8, but 18. Sorry, why did I call it that?
8th.
Yeah. Anyway, when I was watching that initially, it was on overnight, and I was doing the whole, when I was in my recording phase, so I was taping it while I was watching it. So I remember, like, after the episode would end, I would rewind and watch it again because I was like semi-distracted by recording.
Yeah.
So when I fell in love with that, I'm gonna tie it back. Watch this. When I fell in love with Easy 8, I love the idea of the UC universe where it was like military stuff.
Yeah.
When it spun off, Gundam Wing became my favorite because of the grandiose story.
Yeah.
Toggies and Zax. But anyway, but I prefer stories like 8th MS Team where it's military and it's all like smaller. Kind of yeah, where he didn't solve the war, but he solved the problem. Yeah. You know what I mean? So anyway, thinking of that, when I was rewriting our Tokudon story, I went smaller scale because I was really thinking grandiose. I was like, I want to make like this 50 episode crazy thing, and then I'm like, no, maybe 6 episodes is better. Yeah. Let me reduce this calamity that I'm about to unleash into this little world that we're creating, and dumb it down a bit to something that's small scale. Yeah. So anyway, so because of the idea of a smaller scale story, I love that Shido pays a heavy price at the end of it, okay? And nobody comes out okay.
Nope. Not a single person. That seemed to be like a theme of the I don't know, OVAs, I guess.
That's where I was like, would do endings like that really feel fulfilling? Because I felt like I was in a bad place. Yeah. Like, even that young, I'm like, why do I like this tragic ending?
It's more real to me. Like, that's really what with me. Obviously, it is no secret that I love these dark and brooding whatever shows. Right. And for me, like, especially with stuff like that, when it's like Gundam or Amazons, that kind of thing, like, to me, it's always more believable if everyone is not okay. Like,
right. Like,
that's really, like, with Saber, for example, it really bugged me when he just came back after like 2 months or a year or whatever it was. Like, yeah, I wanted there to be a price to him saving the world, essentially. Like, a lot of times it feels like in animes and, Toku, a lot of the stuff that we watch, they just get it like for free because plot, you know what I mean? So when they have to actually pay a price, and this is why Blade resonates so much, when there's an actual price they have to pay for that victory, I think that's so much more fulfilling than just like, oh, I did this because, I just was better than this dude I beat up, that kind of thing. Right.
Okay. Yeah, and that's kind of like the whole thing. I think why I initially wanted to go that level, and be that dark, and then our conversation with Mark left me wanting to lighten it up because it doesn't always have to be that dark.
No, like, it doesn't necessarily have to be like everyone dies is the price. You know what I mean?
Right.
But like, Toma being happy writing stories in the Wonder World you know, for the rest of his life. I think that's a reasonable thing that, you know, he saved the world. He's separated from his friends, but he can live in bliss doing the thing that he loves at the same time. You know what I mean? Like there's that semi-equivalent exchange if we're going to go full metal with it. There's an equivalent exchange there where like he paid a price, but he's not like being tortured for all eternity. Like he's still living a good life.
As far as endings go, that movie is absolutely perfect then. Like it gives us the level of cost that I liked, but yet a hopeful ending. You know what I mean? It wasn't depressing. But that's why, agreeing with you, including that as the true ending for it, works for me.
Okay.
Yeah, man. I love this stuff.
I don't like when things like timey-wimey shenanigans, that's for sure. I'm not a fan of that.
Well, okay. Have you caught up with Revice?
I have not since we watched last week. I haven't watched the newest ones.
Okay. Well, they're about to do, spoilers, they're about to do a spin-off, I think.
I had that on the docket for the new stuff. We can talk about it then.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So we'll get at that then. Yeah. But I think that's going to have the kind of ending that we're looking for.
Okay. I'm down for that. That's cool. Yeah. Do you do anything else with your week?
Oh, let's see. Other than that rewrite, I settled on a bad guy. We have a voice for a bad guy.
Okay.
And then that's pretty much it. I don't know. I caught the trailer for The Boys season 3, and for some reason that sparked a supernatural kick. So I have my flannel on. Nice. But like other than that, it's pretty much it.
The Boys season 3. Is there a season 3 or is it the animated one?
I saw that too.
Oh, okay.
There's season 3.
I didn't know there was a
trailer. It's just a trailer. Yeah, it just came out. I mean, he's only literally in it for like a smile and a half, but that's enough. You know, it's
interesting. I know the actor for whatever his name is, not Superman, is in some deep doo-doo right now.
Really?
Yeah, I think he was not being a good person, like typical. So, you know, that is what it is. But no, The Boys is fun. I enjoyed that show much more than I thought I was going to. I thought it was just going to be another like hyper violent, you know, superhero show because that came out in Indivisible. Invincible. There we go. Invincible came out. You know, they're both hyper violent superhero show like takes on the superhero genre. So I was kind of like burned out on the whole like Superman trope at that point. But I enjoyed Invincible. I like a lot.
Invincible is proving to I hope proves to be where they take comic animated stuff now. Like let's just do it that way because there's no bad episode of that.
And I'm pretty sure it's the same team that did Justice League, or it has a very similar style to it. So
really,
I don't know if it's the same team or not, but it has a very, very similar look to like Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. And I know, you know, you guys are always super into that. I watched it passively. I enjoyed what I saw.
Justice League, yeah. I mean, again, when we used to watch it, it was more like because it was nostalgic, but we didn't appreciate that level of like X-Men animated series. We didn't appreciate it when we had it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Definitely not. And that show's pretty great too, honestly. So was the 90s X-Men. I didn't watch that a whole lot back in the day because I was more a Spider-Man kid. But like, I mean, and Iron Man. Let's not talk about the Iron. No one talks about the Iron Man cartoon. Just saying. That's sacrilege.
You know what? I can't even rattle a couple episodes. I know the animation. I know it was in the same. Didn't he have crossovers with Spider-Man? Or am I thinking? Wrong?
No, he did, and then so did like Johnny Flame and stuff like that. So did Wolverine. Yeah. They did because they were all in the same like general block of shows, kind of thing, like Saturday morning cartoon kind of thing. But you cannot deny the power of Tony Stark's mullet in the animated show.
That there was only one way to draw him.
Yeah,
and
that
I'm
was with
so
mullet,
disappointed that RDJ never pulled that off.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Like, even in like a
if
flashback,
anybody could,
like if
anybody could,
when they inevitably bring him back now that they're doing this multiverse thing, that he comes back with like the mullet going on.
The mullet.
Oh my god, that'd be beautiful. I mean, that's also one of my favorite Iron Man suits, the one that has like the red crop top thing going on. The Marvel too, like the Marvel versus Capcom Iron Man, that suit.
Okay, he suffers from Ultraman syndrome, where I know there's differences, but you couldn't put a gun to my head to tell you. Like, I
have no idea. I just think it's a cool suit, and he does cool things. Like it's Iron Man. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, he's blasting lasers, fighting people, flying around. That's what he does. It's his thing. I remember there not being a ton of suits in that one, but like there were some cool ones. I mean, he definitely brought out a couple of like the Golden Age ones, like they brought out that Silver, like his original suit, all that kind of stuff.
War Machine was in that too, right?
War Machine was in that, yeah. That's where I got introduced to War Machine, and I was like, wait, this is Iron Man with more guns. Okay.
With all the guns, not more guns, all the guns.
All of the guns. Yeah, that. Oh man, I gotta watch them. I gotta find it somewhere. I'm sure it's on YouTube or something.
I mean, there's everything's on YouTube, bro.
Everything's on Tubi or Pluto TV or YouTube, anything like that. So I gotta figure it out.
Such as the subject of our topic today.
Yes, the subject of today is actually available on Amazon Prime to watch for free if you have Prime. And it's distributed by Media Blasters. Let me pull up my information here. We'll go through it. We are talking about Hakaider. And more specifically, one of the coolest subtitles to a toku I've heard in a very long time, Mechanical Violator Hakaider.
I mean, they really wanted to set that standard with that title. I mean, automatically they're like, yeah, okay.
I love it so much because this movie is the pinnacle of like the things that I love. Like we watched Lady Battle Cop a few weeks ago, a couple months ago now, I think at this point.
Oh, wow, yeah.
This had the same kind of energy.
Like, it was fun. It was fun. It was
awesome.
Did you watch? I watched the dub, unfortunately.
I watched the sub. So I watched whatever was on Prime, which was the Japanese version, the director's cut specifically. I don't know what the difference is, but it's the director's cut.
I had to, but let's see if they're two different things.
Okay, this will be fun then. Okay. So, if you are not familiar with Mechanical Violator Hakaider, it is a 1995 Japanese tokusatsu movie, and this is important, directed by Keita Amemiya, our boy, and written by Inoue himself. Toshiki Inoue wrote this movie, so it is produced by the two boys, our friends, our brothers in arms, that create all the things that we love and hold dear, except for maybe Orobochi. He might be the only other one.
And this movie is absolutely everything. I mean, I remember watching it and I was like, I started off, I'm like, wow, holy crap, wow. And then it got really hammy and I'm like, this is so hammy, it's amazing.
I loved every second of this movie. So if you are not familiar with Hakaider, he is based on the android Kikaider. And if you're not familiar with that, it's another one of these Ishinomori projects. Kikaider actually had a cameo when they rebooted him in 2014 in the Gaim series, in Kamen Rider Gaim.
Oh, we were so stoked when we saw that one too, bro. Oh my god.
Yeah, and he looks great. He looks amazing. I never had a chance to see the reboot, so I would like to find it and we can talk about it. But I would like to watch the reboot at some point, even though it's in our intro. I've never actually seen the reboot, but I just wanted you guys to know. I know.
We're up on Kikaider, man. Yeah. We got it.
Kikaider's cool. And they do a lot of references to Kikaider in this one because it's supposed to be kind of a spin on the whole universe. Hakaider is typically the bad guy to Kikaider. He's his, I don't know what you want to call him, his Vegeta, his rival.
His Shadow Moon to
his Black RX, yes. You know what I'm saying? Yes. So that's Hakaider. In this one, they wanted to put a spin on it and make him the protagonist. And Mark's saying he knows a guy who could get the reboot.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I shouldn't say he's our protagonist. He is a dark hero.
Yeah, he's the definite anti-hero to the. Yes. And he's. I think he has like what, 12 lines?
Maybe? Yeah, maybe. He doesn't talk a whole lot. He does a lot of like staring and then smirking randomly, and we'll get into that. But apparently the one that I watched was some kind of director's cut. I don't know what they included or didn't include or put back in.
I saw the same, maybe.
But it was a director's cut, just dubbed.
I wonder if the director's cut included all the big boss scenes, because that was.
I feel like the director's cut may have included more of the dream stuff.
Yeah, because that was a bit. Oh yeah, okay, all right.
You know what I mean? Like the last part, we'll get into it. Yeah. But what did you think of this movie? First off, right out the gate, give me the log line. First,
obviously this is a product of its time. It's not super high budget. I mean, I think there's, how do I put this? It is quality, and I'm not gonna say it's not, but expect what you're getting for the age. You're not getting this super high budget Hollywood blockbuster.
Yeah.
But dude, everything about this movie is dope.
It's so cool.
They don't hold back with any of the the practicals are just as good as they do the gore. There's gore in this to the point where you're like shocked. Because the first time it happens, I think it's what somebody gets their throat gouged open or something like that.
Yeah. So he essentially so the beginning of the movie, because this leads into this, the beginning of the movie, we get the typical Toei wave, that screen, and then they pan over, and apparently there's a castle right there, just right out of frame.
It's always been there. Nobody's known about it.
Yeah, nobody's been there. It's just been right out of frame the whole time. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever. I was like, oh, okay, here we go. They literally just pan over, and that's
off high, guys. Starting off with a high note.
And so essentially you have these dudes, I don't know who they are. They're some kind of rebel.
Okay, to be honest, the plot gets a little goofy, but just know that everybody's a bad guy in some way. Yeah,
everybody's a bad guy.
Good guy.
Yeah. Everyone is trying to bide for their own ideologies, essentially. So these guys break into this castle, and they find this man chained up, and they're very confused on what's going on, but they seem to know. I don't even know if they really know what it is. They just know there's a treasure there. That's what it is. They just happen to know whether there's a treasure. And they find this guy chained up, and then he immediately proceeds to do a Satsui no Hado on them. All 15 of these dudes straight up die 1,000 deaths.
But I mean, they unload on him. They empty like 17 magazines each onto his ass, and he's just like,
he eats all of it.
My turn. I was like, okay.
They unleash the bullets, and then you hear like the ultra pop, and you go, die 1,000 deaths.
And then they're all ripped apart.
Yeah, and then it turns into the Flash. And that's it. And then it just rolls the opening thing, the opening crawl. I was like, oh, okay.
So that's our introduction to him. And then but he's fully henshin. You do get this dope like silhouette shot of him. Like you really get the appreciation that this is really gonna be fun because he's just standing in this body pile, and you're like, and there's smoke coming off of him. It's so cool.
So sick. It's the most like Amemiya 1990s thing I've ever seen in my life. Like if anyone has seen Kamen Rider J or Shin or any of the 90s like trilogy, just anything Amemiya has directed, it has the biggest Amemiya energy. And this is one of the things that I love about it, because I love his style. His style speaks to me on a spiritual level when it comes to like directing, when it comes to aesthetics, into his art even. Like, I love everything this dude pumps out, even if it's the corniest cornball nonsense there ever has been.
He would be like shooting the same style probably today. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, absolutely. And I am here for it. Like, if we could get this level of prosthetics today, let's do it.
That's the one thing I miss is the practicals in this are dope. Like there's characters in here that are strictly toku. They're just Michael, I think, is the one character that I'm thinking of. He's strictly in the henshin form the entire time. I think he is an android.
He is an android. They're all androids.
But yeah, so he's an android, and he's like in the whole movie, and it doesn't feel weird because it's like he's as embedded with this expectation. Yeah. As is his whole movie, you know what I mean?
And he does have a henshin of sorts towards the end.
Of sorts.
But we'll get to that. So, essentially, this movie is... I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it. It's if Mad Max had to try and deal with a love story that he wanted no part of.
Yeah, that was so cringy, though.
Yeah, Hakaider has this look that is literally Mad Max. He's got the jacket with the big things on. He's got the bracers on his arms. It's literally Mad Max.
Yeah, legitimate.
And so that's him in his human form. And very quickly, almost immediately, right after we get this Satsui no Hado, this raging demon, we see his henshin. And what did you think of that henshin?
Bro, come on. The when he transforms. Okay, wait, but we're getting ahead of ourselves because the plot is. He henshins because this army group is chasing this guy carrying a suitcase full of something, right? Yeah. Okay. So they catch up to him. I don't know how many times that they fired a grenade with gas canisters, but there was only one that made it into his thing and immediately started pluming. Did you see? They shot like 17 of them, and only one went through the window.
And it like didn't even do anything. It kind of like,
he just chokes for like 17 minutes.
Yeah,
choosing to. Anyway, so that's when he's showing up, right? Like he starts to come in with his bike, and I forget how the full transformation is.
So essentially, he does this like and then like some wires like shoot over his hands, and then everything kind of like bursts out of him almost.
It feels very Shin,
yeah,
but like less gruesome. He's not transforming.
Imagine a weird child of the Guyver Henshin and the Shin Henshin is essentially what we get.
The wires look like veins and like arteries, and then there's his heart actually is like a geary, turny, like an engine type thing. Literally, it's like a machine that's being whirred up. But
it's pretty cool,
dude.
It's sick. There's like a big light that he's just silhouetted, so you don't even really see a lot. You just see like the silhouettes of the wires and things like that going on. I thought it was a sick henshin. It's the only time you see it. It's obviously just kind of like an artistic whatever, but I thought it was really cool because he doesn't even say like henshin or like
he just screams
time to violate or something like that.
No, could you?
He can't say that because that's probably implying many other things. But you know,
just come in with a little. Time to be violent.
It's time to violate.
But all right, so he comes, he whoops these people's asses.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, remind me the plot because Jesus Town is Jesus Town, right?
Oh yes, it's called Jesus Town.
He breaks into a place called Jesus Town, who's ruled by this
Jesus.
Wait, I gotta know who voiced the English dub there, because I swear I thought it was Yuri.
I have no idea.
Whoever voices the main dude sounded like Yuri Lowenthal, and every delivery is so soft and so dramatic. It's almost like a dream. You know what I mean? Legitimate. I don't know how he sounded in Japanese.
No, in Japanese it's very much like a. It's not quite the Waz like grandiose, but it's that same kind of connotation if he's like calm.
Oh god.
Yeah, he's just very much like we must have order and justice and
So Hakaider breaks into Jesus Town, which is run by this dude, and is like basically immediately recognized. like there's no like there's no holding back in this plot. It goes real freaking quick
because it's very loose. It's a very small, like it's not deep. It is. We got to get Hakaider from A to B, and then we're just going to basically make him go in a straight line. That's what it is. And he literally for the first half hour or so is literally just driving in a straight line, and everyone is trying to stop him. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever. Like he is full Terminator.
Yeah, when he gets to the fortress gates of the place, Jesus Town. I'm sorry.
I'm gonna say it as many times as I
every time I was like, why that? And then I get that the android is Michael. He's supposed to be. I get it, and I'm like, oh god, okay. But anyway, so he's about to approach the Jesus gates, and he henshins his bike into this bike drill thing. Like it was so dope. He just plows right through it.
Yep, he didn't
explodes the gates. No subtlety.
Nope.
But yet I didn't hear any screams. I didn't hear any kind of chaos. It was just poof.
There's a lot of times in this movie where there's not even like music. It's just stuff happening. And I thought that was a really cool touch, especially we'll get to the fight towards the end, but like that in particular.
Yeah, that felt okay. But all right, so
I have a whole rant for that scene. I have a whole rant.
Okay, cool. So he immediately breaks into this place, and we're introduced to the villain. Everybody's a villain, but he's the worst. So he's the one running Jesus Town, and he tells Michael, "Hey, go solve this for me, please."
Yep.
You know what I mean? At first, it's all like he recognizes
they must keep order. Yeah, that's what it is. And Michael's job is to police. He's the head of like the guard. They activate the heavy troopers, which are their like specialized unit, and you find out very quickly that
they look dope too.
Yeah, Gurdjieff is the name of the Jesus Town head dude. Gurdjieff, yes. I don't know how they pronounce it in English, but that's.
I don't even think they ever said it.
Okay, his name's Gurdjieff.
I can't even remember his name.
But yeah, his idea is you have to weed out any sense of disorder and chaos and anarchy. So he'll find anyone who they assume it's kind of like Minority Report, where like if they think you're gonna do something, they just black bag you. and throw you in this machine that like drills a hole in your head and inserts a chip.
It's like I mean, it was if he's the villainous thing about Gurdjieff is that he's so convinced in his righteousness. You know what I mean? He doesn't view it as wrong at all to even dismiss or destroy anything.
Literally is creating a utopia in his in his brain. He's making the world's utopia, and it's a perfect place to live, and no one, can complain because it is utopia.
I'm putting up a picture of Hakaider when he first shows up with his shotgun.
His shotgun. Yes, he has a shotgun.
He has the Doom Guy super shotgun, by the way. Oh, it is nice. Actually, I think I saved a clip during the I don't know if I can bring it up without getting us in trouble.
So that's Hakaider. That's what we're looking at. He's got them shoulder pads. You guys know I love me some pointy ass shoulders, so I'm here for it.
Okay, so anyway,
I don't know what the troopers are called, honestly, to even find a picture. There's something heavy troopers. They basically look like if you took a stormtrooper and then just put a tower on top of his head and then put some eyeballs on it. Like, that's what they look like. But they are, we should note that they're real people inside of these suits. These are not androids. These are people inside of these things. And so Hakaider just goes around messing these guys up. And it's kind of wild.
It's like the Tony Jaa stunt team. They're taking these freaking hits. They don't hold back with this.
And like I said, he's doing this Terminator thing, so they're just unloading bullets on him, and he's just walking through them, and then he's just like chopping them in the throat and punching through faces, and you see like kind of thing.
It won't let me bring it up, but there is a scene there where he's defeated these things. Yeah. One of them has their arm blown off. Because they try to fire his shotgun. Yes. They get a hold of his shotgun. Yes. And they try to fire it, and it freaking blows their arm off.
It is the beam magnum of Toku. This thing is so strong. It's just, and you see it fall down, and the guy gets blown back. It's so cool.
He's yanked. It's not just, oh no, it's, oh god.
This isn't a shotgun. We should preface it. This is not a normal shotgun. This thing is firing anti-tank slugs, essentially. Yeah. This thing is a monster. It's a cannon. It's a howitzer in his hand.
And when he fired it, it blew the guy completely away from it. Arm drops with the gun. Later on, he just kicks the arm off of it or something, or rips it up and picks up his gun again. I love it. Everything about that thing was amazing.
It's so crazy. And so Hakaider literally trumps these dudes in seconds because he's a badass until they bring in their own tank, which wasn't even a tank. Did you notice what this thing was?
No. What was it?
So this was a panel van with a tank turret on top of it.
Yes, it's your standard. When you think of the 1920s bootlegger trucks, the ones that always have the milk in the back.
The don't take the candy from this guy trucks?
Yeah.
It's that thing. It's that van where it's like, hey, I got a bike in my back. And it's like, you shouldn't get in the back of that van. It's that van.
Why are you even looking at this guy? Yeah. This is not good. This is not good. Run.
It's that with a turret on top of it. It's not even a tank.
and then he mentions they have the bike fight, which is again all the choreography in this and the stunt work is amazing, top notch. Yeah. It's legit in this movie. Because you get this dark. Everything is dark. So let me preface that, because if they didn't have everything dark, you would see definite wires and crash mats because there's all over the place.
It is big 90s aesthetic, whether it's anime, whether it's toku, everything is just very dark in these movies, and that's why I love it. It's very much a high contrast using a bright white or really high blue light. And I thought that was a really cool thing, and I noticed that specifically with the lighting throughout the entire movie. It's usually just a daylight essentially. Blasting, and then everything else is shadows. They might have a little bit of a fill, but if anything, it's a deeper blue kind of thing. It's really not anything major. It's very high contrast, and I love me some high contrast stuff.
Yeah. So it's during this that he links up with the Renegade group, and that's when we're introduced to what I think is the director's cut additions. I guess the dream sequences with this. With one particular character of this rebel group is I forget her name, Kaoru, something like that.
So you're jumping ahead a little bit here.
A little bit.
So one thing, because this is important to his character, we should mention that after Hakaider messes this whole troop of dudes up, Michael shows up.
Okay,
Michael shows up, and is perusing through his people, and one person is still alive enough to get up and walk towards him. And the first thing he says to this guy is, "How dare you still be alive?"
It's so justified. Like, I was like, why is he mourning because he shows up and he's like grieving these dead guys, and
he does the
like,
eyelid close thing on one of them.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh God, there's one alive, and I was expecting him to be like, "You're alive," and he's like, "You disgusting piece of shit!
How dare you not die?
How dare you think that I should feel anything when you didn't do anything?"
Yeah, like if we're gonna go with the whole God motif, right? Like, they're clearly supposed to be like God's people. This is the most Old Testament thing in this entire movie, because he goes, "How dare you not die in my service?" and then stabs him in the face, and blood squirts everywhere.
With fingers, bro.
With fingers. He's got nails.
He finger heads him.
Collapses it in. You just
Oh, and there's blood, and there's so much blood. There's definitely a PA who's just like squeezing an entire
there's
bag.
There's the dude with like the pump, like, come on.
There's more. But it's that with just his fingers.
Yeah. It's
and
so
that's
cool.
that's where we're introduced to Michael, the android.
The android. Angel. Who does have a wing on his back as well. We should mention that, which is used later. But he's got a single wing. I thought you would appreciate that. He's got like one wing.
Hold on, I have a picture of him.
He's got one wing on his back. He looks very much like Hakaider. Keep that in mind. We'll talk about that later. But he looks very much like Hakaider, but he's silver and white.
And right, so that's not a full body picture, but I'll get one. But yeah, I did like the intimidation and the power difference is pretty bleak.
Yeah.
But anyway, I did skip around a bit. I apologize.
Yeah. So I just wanted to bring that up because that's very important to like who Michael is and his beliefs and things like that. He is very much like God's soldier, literally. Gurdjieff and all that. He's supposed to be like the prophet of God or God himself. But Michael is very much like, "Oh yes, I am your soldier. Let me do your work. And how dare your soldiers not also do this work?
Absolutely.
We better be giving out these hands, and if not, you dying."
And it's not shame on you. I'm gonna kill you myself.
Yeah. So it's kind of wild. But yes, and then so we're introduced to her name's Kaoru, our female lead, I should say. She's not really a protagonist, I wouldn't say, but she's a female lead, and she is introduced. Yes. Do you want to explain the dream a little bit, because it's kind of weird?
Let me see what kind of what you got, because it might be different from the dub. The dub is inferred that these dreams she's been having are allegories to whatever she's experiencing.
That's kind of the vibe I got.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So when the first thing we see is the group running away from the troop, and Hakaider shows up wanting to fight, wanting to stop them.
Yeah.
It gets mixed in with them somehow. I can't remember exactly how he gets mixed in with them, but she basically, because of the way he looks, has that allusion to these dreams that she's been having. Because we're first introduced to her in this dream sequence where she sees this black knight with a sword who's like pointing at her. Is he? But anyway, it's just implied that he's this powerful protector figure, and she's this princess type thing.
Yep.
Insect? Was she an insect bug?
Yeah, I took it as like a weird,
like a
Amemiya fairy.
Yeah, I know. I was just trying to figure it out. Like, is she Tinkerbell or is she a bug? But anyway, so because she sees him, it's immediately like she makes that connection that's who that's him. That's the guy immediately, because he looks like this dream I had vaguely.
How many dudes roll in messing everyone up dressed in all black? Let's be fair here. But yeah,
just
so when he's knocked over by the tank, I believe they run in and like hold them off for a minute and they help him, and then they kind of all escape together. That's how he gets mixed in with them.
Yeah. Okay. So either way, it begins this sidetrack of this dream sequence that kind of pops up once or twice, a couple more times down the road, and I wanted it to be more than it was, but anyway.
I was fine with where it went. I mean, it's not really a spoiler at this point. It doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, it was like, okay, but does that even do anything for him as a character? Like, it was all just her.
Yeah,
and then it ends.
I think it was more to spur him, because his whole thing, he says it a few times throughout the movie, is he actually says it to one of the guys whose heads he like kicks in or something. If you can't decide your own destiny, you shouldn't be alive.
He does have that free will,
Yeah, and it's like motif. If you're not worthy of living if you don't have a free will, essentially, and that's how he justifies his heroing that he does in this movie, which is kind of like, is he a good person? Heroing. I don't know. Yeah, he's like, if you don't have free will,
that ruptured spleen should teach you a lesson.
like it's kind of crazy. So they all escape into like a hideout, and they help him. They repair his arm because I think his arm got blown off or something. But they help repair it.
Because it gets blown
off. Because you see this little like skeleton like see-through hand thing, and then they just like Luke Skywalker some spray skin over it. Very strange. Very strange.
It's very just patchwork to fill the time gap, because all it was just
it's how to get Hakaider in front of Gurdjieff. That's essentially what the plot of this movie is.
Yes, and
it is so even better than Mad Max. Honestly, this kind of feels more the vibe of like Fist of the North Star with its hyper violence. It's Fist of the North Star based on Mad Max, but like it's the wandering dude, hyper violent, all this. Yeah, it's very Fist of the North Star without the like Hakudo no Ken.
Yeah. So, but it's in that same mixture where you get the introduction that these renegades are pieces of shit too, because they're all rebelling for a selfish purpose, and only Kaoru feels like they should be doing it for the betterment of everybody.
She's like, oh, we should, this isn't a real utopia, we got to save the people. Everyone else is like, but I'm trying to get rich.
That's all they're looking at. And I mean, honestly, that's reality, and I think it speaks to maybe Amemiya's viewpoint of the whole thing, that none of these people are good. You know what I mean? Like everybody has a shitty subtext.
That's a very Amemiya thing, right? Or Inoue, even, who wrote it. Like he's just everyone sucks. Let's put them through the ringer because they all suck.
Yeah, like let's you better earn your happy ending, because the consequences are still there for you, buddy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're still a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But
so, they go through this thing where like I don't even know any of the other characters' names, honestly, inside this base.
No,
because they
random
don't matter.
Guys 6, 7, 8, and 12.
Yeah. And then, you get at one point we saw the one girl, like they used her for a fishnet shot. That was essentially why she was there, to show you like, hey, we have a plan. This is the rebels. Ha ha ha. Let's storm this. Can we talk about when they storm the truck? They have a bunch of guns and they run up and bop them in the head. I was like, okay, whatever.
There's a lot of unused guns, but it's because only Hakaider would be able to take the bullets.
Yeah. So it is what it is. But they're in this base that they supposedly, is very difficult to find. And they go through a little bit of like I forget, did Michael track them somehow or something like that? I got kind of confused.
Yeah. Before that, we have that sequence of revelation, how Gurdjieff is treating people who go against the grain. And
where he
damn, that got dark.
Yeah.
Like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest type of dark, bro. Like
the ultimate shock treatment.
He's lobotomizing people, essentially.
Straight up.
He's turning them into passive zombies who are basically
and these are the soldiers that Hakaider's fighting the whole time.
Right. So mind you, these are now following his orders because they now see him as the god.
Yep. They are literally strapped into an iron lung, and then they show you this X-ray of a drill going into a skull, and like implanting a chip, and then it just like wires out into their brain. It's kind of wild.
So mind you, Hakaider's been brutalizing these people the entire
poor people,
movie. So these are the poor fools that have been ripped in half by your hero. Congratulations. How good do you feel?
Yeah.
So that's the stuff
that's where the anti-hero part comes in.
I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, he's the good guy. Okay.
Yay, he killed them.
I guess you could say he's putting them out of their misery. I guess.
I'm so sorry, guys. Okay, so
he's an android. He doesn't feel anything.
They attack that thing and they get their asses handed to them.
Yes, the super soldier dudes just like show up at the fortress.
Yeah, they're having a fallout at that moment.
Of course they are.
Yeah, because Hakaider's like, you guys are actually dicks. I'm actually gonna stop you guys too. Yeah. And then boom, the Gurdjieff's forces shows up. They kill everybody. You know
what it is? I'm sorry. I think I realized. I think they were tracking whatever was in the cases. That's how they found it.
Sure.
Let's go with that. There were some computer things happening, and then all of a sudden they showed up. So
there's a lot that I probably missed because of the dub. Like again, I was like, that's probably not the line. That's probably not the line. You know what I mean? And it was a lot. Oh my god, especially for Gurdjieff, there was a lot of. And then finish the sentence.
Oh.
Off camera. That, and I was like, but wait, what was the beginning of that sentence? Like
yeah, there is a little bit of that because he does this kind of, he's very preachy in the way he delivers his, even in Japanese. He's very like,
but that's where you get all the exposition
utopia.
from. Yeah, and unfortunate, he's the exposition dump. You know what I mean? Like that. So I was getting everything from him. Yeah. While still thinking it was Yuri Lowenthal the whole time, and I still need to find out who it was because that's gonna bug me.
So like these guys attack. Hakaider does his Hakaider thing, and from this point until the end of the movie, Hakaider just starts eating bullets. Like I don't know, and I don't mean in a good way. Like he's not terminating through them anymore. After he gets hit with that tank, from then on, he's actually feeling all of these bullets and gets his ass beat for like a good 45 minutes.
A lot of chip damage, a lot of battle damage versus on him.
And so he's eventually like
rocketed. He gets rocketed.
He gets rocketed in the chest and thrown out a window.
Yes, I forgot about that.
On fire, by the way. They lit that suit on fire.
They did?
I don't know. He's on fire though when he goes flying out the window.
So he survives that. Kaoru and all of them. Oh my god, it won't let me load the clip. But there's one moment while after they beat Hokkaido.
Oh, I know exactly because I put a huge bookmark in that.
I paused it, rewound it, recorded it, and everything, and played it like 3 times. They had me dying.
So they think Hokkaider is killed, right? So
yes,
all of the super heavy trooper dudes are there. They're lined up. And Kaoru and some other dude are like the only two surviving.
The last random guy. The last
random dude like run up and they're like, oh my god, Hakaider. Bah! So the troopers literally stop, turn around and start to walk away. No, they don't
stop. Oh, I'm sorry. That's the point. I'm sorry.
Yes, that's the point. So they stop and turn around and start to walk away because Michael shows up and he goes, hey, Hakaider's done. Ha 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 ha. Oh, thank you. He shows up, and as they're walking away, they're all ignoring him. There's a good 20-something dudes. They're all ignoring him.
There's a troop that's just walking, bro, just past the two. They've already been shot once.
Yeah,
right?
they're all, they're holding their arms, everything. The entire regiment ignores them until the last dude. The last dude goes pop, 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 pop.
Just 2 hips, 2 shots from the hip. He doesn't even fully turn, guys. He doesn't even fully turn. He doesn't even recognize her as a threat. He's just like, that's still breathing. Bang, bang. And then
it was so disrespectful.
I played that like 7 times. I was like, oh my god, that is amazing. Because I watched, so you can watch it and I swear every time it gets better because you watch the first guy walk by and not recognize them. And then you're like, none of them are even looking at him.
Yeah.
Not even the last guy who shoots them barely registers their existence before capping them.
Doesn't even turn. Like it's one fluid motion. It was so good.
I was like, I would be so mad if I fought my whole life to be shot off cuff like that.
It was the most disrespectful thing I've ever seen in a movie.
and it makes it even more drawn out that she goes and walks this dramatic distance after that, bro. Like she's shot in like the pelvis area, so she's like not immediately dead. Yeah, but she manages to walk like into this district. There's like people all around her, and she's like, "Hey!"
Yeah, and then so apparently at this point too, right before she walks away, Michael like hits her with the burning finger. I don't know what he was doing. It kind of just cuts away and she screams, and that's what wakes Hakaider up.
Did I forget that? I forgot that.
Yeah, so that's what happens afterwards. After the disrespect, Michael walks up and gives her the burning fingers. And then she starts screaming, and then she just wanders into town, and that's what wakes Hakaider up because he hears the screaming.
Okay, I forgot that part because I'm just like, I was so lit off of that off-cuff shooting that I couldn't even register anything.
It was so bad.
I had to come off of
it. Was ridiculous. I loved every second of it.
And the first guy dies like almost instantly. That's
instantly. Like that dude was barely there to begin with. He was like, "I'm gonna put you down."
Dead. Perfect. That made this whole movie. The rest of this movie was just kind of hazy because I just relived that part over and over again throughout the rest.
The rest of it was just like the whipped cream and cherry to the sundae at that point. It was perfect.
So, after the best part of the movie, we have the scene where she dies in Hakaider's arm in like the middle of this field, and she has like her final dream sequence. She's talking to him, trying to get him to understand that, you know, feelings or whatever.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, free will and all this, and like she's talking about getting married, and she was like, do you want to marry me? And then she imagines him in like the knight armor, but like getting married, and he's got a badass sword. I thought he was gonna get that sword.
No,
but, like,
I mean,
in the dreams,
he
was like, I mean, the shotgun works better, but like I thought he was gonna get the sword.
It was worth the if that's the director's edition. I understand why it was cut, because it really does, like, why. But okay, so we have that, and she dies, and she that's the end of her. Now he's all on his own. He's ready to go and
I literally like time. Was very confused when she died too, because I looked away for a second, literally a second. I looked away.
He kept her jingle bells.
Yeah, so and then I looked back up, and he's driving around with her jingle bells, and I was like, wait, what?
Yeah,
and then so like I had to rewind it for a second. I mean, again, I'm still laughing from the scene before that, but I'm like, I had to rewind it, and I was like, oh, she died. Oh, okay. Like, that's how unimportant she is. She doesn't matter.
But it became his henshin device, because it seems like every time he flicked it, he changed into the.
I mean, that's a cool little like tick that he has, I guess.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's his new henshin. Okay,
that's cool. I'm down for that. I mean, that's fine.
I dig it.
Yeah, he's like super serious mode. Ching.
Yep. Time to die, bitches.
Listen,
but
you know who else had bells when he henshined? Karas.
I was about to say, swing to and fro, bro. Swing to and fro,
sway. God, Karas is amazing. Remember when we reviewed those? We reviewed those. Go watch those episodes. They're great.
We did that. Shameless plug. Thanks. So it's final fight time. He goes to attack the fortress, and the super shotgun becomes a super shredding, armor-piercing bullet hell gun. Like,
not before he says, I have these slugs, but I'm going to beat you with the end of this thing.
So he literally tears through the entire complex, tearing these unfortunate souls apart with
straight up the Death Star shot.
Yes, they do include a Death Star shot too.
Yeah.
So it's literally the storm. It's so, you're so right, dude. It's exactly
straight up
like
the Death Star shot.
Stormtroopers running through the Death Star,
even with the red, because he's got a red display, and it goes through, and it like plots where he has to shoot, and then it like fires in and goes in, and then it blows everyone up. Yeah,
I mean, and you get the full effect of him being a total badass. Like,
did you catch the number of troops that shot destroyed? Did they mention that in the dub?
The number of troops? I think it was 12, right?
No, it was 95% of everyone in that complex. He killed 95 with one shot. He killed 95% of every soldier in that complex. And he still fought a lot of dudes after
dudes fall in the hallway. There was 95% of the force. Was that all 12 of them in the hallway?
That was the other 8, okay?
They were in the break room. One guy was on the toilet. He's just like,
he just feels a rumble.
There's another guy who's just like randomly like, guys? He's in the bathroom still. The ending is happening. He's this one survivor. He's one of the 5% that's like hiding.
Yeah. No, this is the 5% that are left before he goes on his rampage inside the building. And I was like, damn.
One shot tears through like 7 dudes' heads because they were like perfectly lined up. They were like, let's run directly behind each other down this hallway straight at him. He's like, okay.
Did you catch a weird thing that happens as he's walking into this room?
Didn't he stumble almost at one point?
No, a force field just generates randomly
around him.
Yeah,
around
just
him, right?
randomly.
Yeah. Like,
I was so confused. I was like, why haven't you been using this the whole time? And then that explains why he can just suddenly start taking bullets again.
I thought it was the whole thing, is that's what he was doing the whole time.
I didn't see that effect anywhere else in the movie.
No, the effect, correction. The effect was not there the whole time. That was like shoehorned there. They're like, where can we fit this?
Yeah, and they were like, oh, he's been getting his ass kicked. Let's see why he can't. And then like force field. And I was like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah. So he breaks these, he gets, after he's killed everybody, and the rest of the 5%, he breaks the kids out of the confinement that they were going to become the zombies, the zombie soldiers. So that's so morbid now that I think about it.
Yep.
Dude, he like, they're running through the corridors to escape from their future. You know what I mean?
Yep. That could have been me. Good Lord.
That would have been me if it were not for. Oh God.
And Hakaider had to test them. He was like, do you have a dream? And they were like, Yeah. Yeah. Yup.
It was the first kid. He's like, yeah, shut up, guys. Yeah.
Frank's like, wow, I really don't. He's like, shut the fuck up, Frank. I'm just trying to get out of here, man. He's
Frank's the one in the corner, like, I had a dream once. That was the worst decision of my life. I never. Shut up, Frank. Oh, sorry.
That's why the kid turns around. You just hear like, shut up, Frank.
Nobody listens to me anyway. Anyway, so fuck Frank. But so he breaks the kids out. They escape. They pass his test, and then we have the fight with Michael. And
this fight was goddamn amazing. I loved every minute of it.
Mind you, this is like the last 20 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, like 10 of this is this fight.
Yeah, it's all fighting from here on out, and then another fight after that. Mm-hmm, so, like, buckle up, because he and Michael grunge fight, bro. Yep. Like, it is the most. There's no weapons. Like, they don't. There's no sword fighting. There's no shooting. Nope. It is straight knuckle up, bro. Yep. Like they.
And before this, right before this, you actually learn that Michael is the next iteration of the Hakaider project. So you learn that Hakaider used to work. He was the original Michael, and then developed a will of his own. So Gurdjieff locked him away in that castle from the beginning. So Michael says, I'm the better one anyway. I'll uphold justice and I'll defeat him. So they both have a dog in this fight. Essentially, is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, you get your heavy dogmatic undertones. It is what it is. Mm-hmm. It's it's heavy-handed, but whatever. So we're gonna get these two fight. So they fight and they have their moral compasses. Like you said, they throw their stuff on the table, and then it's time to knuckle up.
Yep. And when they do, I don't know if you had this connection as well, but it's a lot of very brief interactions with like the stare down, right? And like at first I was like, why don't they just like do something? And then I was thinking about it, and I was like, this is straight up like a legit samurai fight, like the way that they're just like clang clang, and then just back off, clang clang.
Because there's no weapons in it, it feels so much more brutal. But you get the same cinematic vibe that, weapons is wings and shit don't count. But I mean, there's no swords and guns.
But like they just have these short clashes, and every time they're clashing, you get this like metal twang, and it has like a ripple effect.
Sometimes they even have shockwaves and shit. Like
like every single one, you saw this shockwave thing, and that's all you're hearing. There's no music, there's no nothing. You just hear the hit noises and this clang. And I thought this was really, really well done.
Yes. Oh my god, we get such a good effect too when he does he smacks him one time, right? Mm-hmm. And you could tell that it hit, because the second it hit, it popped and sparked. Yeah. And then he immediately follows it up with this combo. Like Hakaider gets smacked, follows it up with this elbow drop combo with a spinning back fist with a shockwave. I was like, oh my god.
It's so cool. This is by far, I mean, besides the golden moment, this is by far my favorite part of the movie. And I think this is like what made the movie for me, this entire scene. And as they're fighting, because they're in this big white room, right? Like it's a sterile white room that Gurdjieff is in. It's his office, whatever you want to call it. But as they're like knocking each other into the room, at one point, into walls, like punching through things before they. At one point, Hakaider like punches through a pillar before punching Michael. I was like, that was excessive, but I'm here for it.
No, I understand. Another one, please.
But the cool thing and the really interesting thing is all of the inside guts of this building are red. Like all the mechanisms and the mechanics, the piping is true.
Like the wiring and all that stuff is like
all bright red. So you're just seeing this sterile white room and the bright red spots popping all over, and then you have this black, this black figure, and then this silver and white like angelic dude just clashing. I thought it was so well done, and I was getting really hyped. And this is the first time in like the last couple things we watched where I was like, I am here
invested.
I am here for the aesthetic, and this is very clearly a director's aesthetic. And I was like, this is amazing.
Yes.
I got so hyped just watching it, and I was like, okay,
Continue to destroy him. Yes, thank you.
Yes, it was great. And like, it was a very back and forth fight to where I was like, Michael's getting chumped. This is crazy. And then he like turns it on.
At first. Then Michael starts to really like, okay. I mean, when he starts to use his wing is when he starts to get the advantage.
The wing has this like fan blade thing going on. So he just like clips Hakaider a few times. And
Kitana type, but he uses that, and then he really starts to beat Hakaider's ass to the point where Hakaider starts to need his gun.
Yeah, he tries to go for the gun.
Yeah, and there's this dope scene where it leads to everything. Where Michael, he beats his ass down, knows that he's going for the gun, gets the gun first, empties every round in front of him. He's just
so metal. He just
no problem.
One hand, and you see the shells popping out.
This is what you need, right?
Yeah.
Okay. No, here, you could have it. Yeah, no problem.
Just deadlocked, like eyes, like they don't have, obviously their pupils. You saw the picture.
Yeah, but you can tell.
He's just like staring at him.
That's the vibe. He's just like, yep, you're done. Okay. Empties the gun, drops it. Fuck you. While he's doing that, though, one of the rounds manages to roll towards Hakaider. And
before you get to this part, please, I want to talk about how Hakaider got on that floor, because he straight up, Michael gave him a burning finger into a heat end.
Yes.
Straight up, he gets the glowy hand that we saw from Kaoru. He starts like it just heats up the metal. Like he grabs Hakaider, breaks some of his armor, he stabs it into his stomach and lifts him up. And then straight up, short of saying literally heat end, tosses him aside.
How's that feel, buddy?
Like straight, hold him up there, and like 100%, I could hear Domon in my head, like, heat end! It was so sick. But yeah,
so
the shells roll over.
He wasn't getting up.
No, he wasn't getting up. The shells roll over, and Hakaider grabs them. And I honestly expected him to just punch him with the shells. That's what I was thinking.
Guess I thought it would be like some kind of shenanigans where he was gonna be like, punch like Batman.
Yeah, like that kind of thing. Yeah.
But
remember,
instead of that,
they're androids.
Right.
Just throwing that out there.
So there's this one thing we forgot about Hakaider, is that he's an android. Yeah. And there's a surprising little weapon he has that we didn't know about. He takes the shell, he loads it into his forearm, whatever. It loads into his arm cannon gunny thingy that just appeared.
It just comes out of a section of armor, and he has a shotgun on his arm.
And then boom, and it
blows him away.
Michael is like, he's like about to kill him with the fiery burning hand, and then gets it right blown off, and he's like,
and I was like, damn, okay. So he gets his, and then Hakaider gets up, gives him the 1-2, and then he starts like breaking his neck and like judo flips him. And they had one of the best ragdoll scenes that I've ever seen in my life, where they clearly replaced it with a doll, and you just see the feet like flopping all over the place before he like judo flips him onto the stairs.
It's like the Team America. It's
they just start going nuts. So he judo flips him onto the stairs, turns the head a few more times, and then Sub-Zeros the hell out of him.
Yeah,
you see the spine and the juice and everything. He's just holding Michael's head. It's so good, and he just tosses it aside.
And of course, the wiring looks like a spine, and it's all red, and it's a brutal looking thing to be a machine.
Not so much of the spray, though. I was surprised. I thought there was going to be some spray, but there was no spray, or at least not a lot, anyway. If there was, So that's when our boy Gurdjieff steps in.
Of course,
Gurdjieff
comes in. Hakaider disrespects Michael's head.
So much disrespect. Tosses it aside like he's trash.
Yes. I think I recorded it too, because he legitimately rips the head off, and Gurdjieff asked him a question, and I forget what the question was exactly, but it required a response.
Yeah. And
the response was, fuck Michael's head.
Like, I'm pretty sure Gurdjieff is like, hey, I created you. You need to come work for me again.
Something like
and
that.
He just like tosses it and goes, oh, you want to be next? Okay.
Yeah. That's my answer, bitch. You're next.
Oh my God, it was so good.
So Gurdjieff buys some time with, Duzek's exposition.
Yeah. He's saying that you created this world order. If you can't join me, we could create a true utopia, this, that, and the other. And you're only here because of me. And, the usual.
It has the undertones of making sense, but at the same time, it's just, whatever, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In your head, you're just waiting for Hakaider to like punch through his face and like get the prosthetic and everything. But he pulls out a little like joystick looking thing, and he starts to fiddle with it, and he turns, and then a giant robo arm comes through the wall.
Massive,
and grabs the head, or does he toss Hakaider? It doesn't matter. Either way,
he grabs Hakaider by the body and pulls him into the room and throws him into this back room.
And then he grabs the head.
Yeah, And here's where you get a dope contrast. Where you had the fight with Michael in the white room with the red contrasting, we get this dark fight. It's in a dark room in this dank environment, and it's him versus this monstrous Hakaider.
Yes. So it grabs Michael's head and puts it on and like fuses into a new body kind of thing. And it has one giant crane arm, and then it also has just like a wing of guns on the other side. And when you look at it, it's straight up Hakaider. Like it has the weird face on the red, it has the normal on the blue, it has the red and blue coloration. And this is where I was like, I know they made some references, because at one point the guy shocks Hakaider, right? So when he first shows up, that's how they kind of get Hakaider down for the tank to roll up. He shocks him, and you get like red and blue lightning. I don't know if you noticed that.
Really?
You got like red and blue lightning, and then there was green and yellow. And I was like, is green and yellow a character too? Like obviously red and blue is Hakaider. So I tried to look it up. I don't think it is. But like I was like, oh, that's a Hakaider reference. That's pretty cool. Because obviously it's a spinoff, and they're trying to like redo the universe almost. But then we got this monstrosity, and can you try and find a picture? I don't even know.
Let me see. Yeah, I can try.
See if you find a picture. But this thing is straight up red and blue. It's got the half and half thing going on, and
it's like if Ed from RoboCop had wheels instead of legs.
Yeah, because the one in the thing is like a buzzsaw under its throat. I was like, that's nuts.
It's such a giant looking thing. Hold on, I think I'm just about to get a good one.
And it's the same style of like stop animation. It's the same kind of puppetry where if you've seen any of the RoboCop movies and you see Ed 209 walk around, it's that same style. Or if you want a Toku reference, it's the same thing as Zeto. I'm sorry. Zet. Which
Zeto?
one? Zeto.
Zeto.
Yes, that was the one with the weird pool monster, I think. Yeah. Because that one you get the spider lady that comes out and does things. Same style animation. That was also directed by Amemiya. I don't know if Inoue wrote that one too, but Amemiya directs that as well. So you get the same style thing where you get this Hakaider versus your monstrous creature thing, and like you see the clay doll kind of like flopping around a little bit, but it's not moving a whole lot because that's difficult.
It's very 90s. It feels very 90s, but it's good, bro. All right, I think I got a good shot of his face. All right, so these are gonna load up.
Perfect. So this is the fight that you get. It's very gnarly, and like you were saying, it's very big contrast to what we were looking at before, as opposed to this clean room that's now covered in red. It's a pretty gnarly fight, and it's a lot of stop motion, but they do cut to like live action and prosthetics and all this kind of stuff. It's just they do like the one shot specifically of his face, which is probably the one you got, where it is straight up just Hakaider's face.
It is, and there's no two, and that's what I thought was going to happen. I thought Hakaider got like brutalized, and because in the dub, it's really just a monster. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like it's just there, and they
don't call him Hakaider in the Japanese version at all. They don't mention the name Hakaider at all.
Okay, because they really were just like, hey, big monster Rancor fight. You know what I mean? So
essentially, yeah. And yeah, so it turns into, I don't even remember how he kills him exactly. I think he shoots him again. I remember how. So
go ahead.
Hakaider the entire time has had this cross on his chest.
Oh my God, yes. How could we forget?
Exactly. That? That's why I got disappointed in myself.
So he's getting his ass kicked. Yeah. I mean, mind you, he's getting demolished. I think he loses an arm too.
Yes.
He gets his arm taken off, and suddenly his brain starts to swell.
Yes. So he has a brain underneath the big thing there, and you can see it. It starts glowing. And then you hear a somewhat familiar sound. This whoa, 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 whoa. And yeah, you see the X start to glow as well. And then all of a sudden out of the X comes 3 cannons, and he fires straight up a Guyver Mega Smasher.
It is the Mega Smasher, bro.
Mega Smasher.
It looks like it, and it's weird too, because if you've ever seen, you remember Legend of Dragoon, the Divine Dragon cannon?
Yep.
When it starts off as this little like nubby looking thing, and it comes out, and then it just opens up, and you can tell because the second it opens up, there's this glowy light that's gonna come, and you're like, ooh, boom.
Yep.
He gets blasted with all 3 right to the chest, bro. Like
all 3.
All 3 of them destroy this monster, and the head blows off.
Yeah.
The body explodes. And that was the end of it. And
that was the end. On the screen right now, if you're watching the video version, which you can go check out early access on our Patreon, or it'll be on YouTube on Fridays. You can see right now, this is the picture of the Hakaider robot. This is his face. Like I said, straight up Hakaider, which is pretty gnarly looking. I like it. But yeah, a freaking mega smasher. How could I possibly forget? It's the only thing I've ever talked about besides a Vulcan cannon.
It's true. It's true. We've disgraced ourselves. I apologize, guys.
I'm upset with myself.
Here, I'm about to make up for that, and I'll put some up on the Discord. Here you go. I found some pictures of the Mega Smasher, so we could watch it together. That's how it comes out. Actually, it starts off as these little nubbies, guys. Don't forget. They start off as these little nubby-looking things, and then become Mega Smasher cannons. So he does that. He blows the Hakaider monster to hell. The head falls in front of Gervesh, and he's trying to flick the switch for some reason, even though the head's right in front of him. He's like, no. He pulls out this really dope Tres Kushranada caliber pistol. Takes a couple pot shots at Hakaider.
He tried. It was adorable. It was cute.
Yeah. Gets got by Hakaider.
Yeah.
Gored.
Well, by first, they have the conversation again where he's like doing his thing, and Hakaider straight up says, "You're not worth killing." That's how low this dude's bar is. You are not worth killing. So when Hakaider goes to walk away, he picks up one of the guns that were on the Hakaider robot and tries to shoot Hakaider. And Hakaider turns around and pops him in the stomach and essentially blows up a pillow, is what happens.
Kakashi, yeah.
Yeah.
He Kakashis him. And then
feathers just everywhere. Feathers. Not even blood, just feathers. Which made me think, I think it was more of an artistic choice than anything. But I was like, is he a robot? Is he not? Are we going to go into this? Like, is he going to pull his hand away and it's going to be circuits? What's going on?
I think it was so Hakaider wasn't covered in red shit for like the last scene of the movie, so they could have
for the walk away.
Yeah, like look, we can't cover him in blood at this point. It's just too much.
Yeah.
All right, feathers. Yeah. What do we have? These pillows.
Yeah.
Got it.
Jake, the intern, is over there. He's like, come on.
The VA's just cutting these pillows. I'm trying.
Oh man.
And it's an excessive amount of pillows.
It's an excessive amount of feathers. And they kind of coat the whole room. You know, again, you're having this contrast with the white all over. At this point, it's a red room. It's not even a white room anymore. At this point, it's a red room
with feathers in it now.
With feathers in it.
Like they killed every.
Like they tar and feathered this room.
Every goose in the neighborhood was slaughtered in this room.
Yeah.
So, boom. The final shot of the room is actually Hakaider's face saying "justice, justice, justice," whatever.
Yeah.
And then into
because his quote, I don't know if you knew this with Hakaider, that's what he says. Like that's his quote.
I am justice.
I am justice. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Like that's his shtick. Like he's like, I am justice, and henshins and like saves people and all that kind of thing. That's his shtick. That's why he's more into that now, which I thought was a really cool spin on it.
So we should really check out the show.
We should check out the show. Or Mark said he took us up with a reboot. We should definitely check it out.
I'll take any boot.
Yeah. So we'll check it out. But yeah, that's his line. That's where that significance came from.
Okay. So they drop that in there for the last shot of that, and then you get the Mad Max drive away scene of Hakaider just being a badass, putting on the jingle bells, and then driving away.
And I feel like this was supposed to be the start to a series, maybe. I mean, I could be wrong. They could have just wanted to do like a one-off spin-off thing. But I don't believe this got any kind of sequel. It did get a video game, which is kind of cool. It did get a video game. But I don't know if it was like how Lady Battle Cop was supposed to be like the beginning of a series. But we did get a video game, a Hakaider video game, which maybe we'll check it out on the stream sometime. That'd be kind of cool. It came out on the Sega Saturn in 1996. So we'll say a light gun shooting game. Interesting. It's a light gun game.
I haven't played a light gun game in forever.
Listen, House of the Dead remake's coming out soon.
Remake.
They redid the whole thing, and I am here for it. So that is Hakaider. Overall, how did you feel about this movie?
Again, there was nothing about this movie that was too much for me because I like that it was dark. I like Hakaider. I'm more interested now in Hakaider, but I'm not expecting the same Hakaider, obviously.
Yeah.
I think this is good for what it was. I don't expect anything else out of it. But, dude, knowing that this came out, I think it came out at a perfect time because I don't know if this movie would have worked modern or any earlier. It's a product of its time, and it's probably perfect for the genre at that time.
Yeah.
For the dark tone that we want. So
have you
I would
seen,
definitely watch
or do you
this again.
remember the Hakaider reboot design?
I think I have seen it. I think we did see it. Let me see. Dropped it?
Yep, I put it in the Discord. I'll pull it up on the screen for everyone to check out.
Yeah, big brain.
Yeah,
That's right.
so I don't know if you remember, this was Ryoma from Gaim. They put his brain in there, but it's not canon. But this is the redesign of Hakaider. I just love Hakaider's design, honestly, in general. Let me see if I can find a good one of the 1990s.
Ryoma's brain.
Yeah, it was Ryoma's brain in the original. So here we go. This is a good picture.
Brilliantly morbid.
Oop, I don't want to play video. I'll pull this up real quick. And I just put in a... Oop, it kind of came out not as good as I thought it was going to, but, you know, there's a picture of our boy.
Possible.
So, and his bike. And you get the whole kit and caboodle here. You got the bike, you got the shotgun, you got the grimace face. The grimace face was kind of funny because it reminded me of... I just finished Book of Boba Fett, and it had... what's his face?
Cad Bane.
Cad Bane, there you go.
Yeah. I didn't... Oh, man. Yeah. But anyway... I like this design. I think a little bit more. I don't like
the reboot one or the old one.
I don't like the reboot one. I like the reboot colors.
Yeah.
I prefer the helmet of the older one. I think the brain thing is like, shoot me here. Yeah. You know, like.
Well, just to get all three of them in here, might as well. Here's the original one. I will pull this up as well. Mildred is also snoring next to me. If you guys start to hear
the Ishinomori one.
Yes, this is the original Ishinomori Hakaider original TV series version of Hakaider. So obviously the reboot is much more akin to this as opposed to the 90s one. But honestly, for like a Showa design, I kind of dig this too.
It's not bad. I mean, it has the
like
stronger super pads, but you know,
yeah, I can see. I'm not a huge fan of like the cargo pants he's got going on in the new one, the reboot one here.
Yeah. It feels like it's meant to just, you know, be practical because I think the knee pads and the shin guards are like really.
I mean, he's got the high heels going on, like he's always had the high heels, but I think the like elf shoes almost that he has in the movie, I think are really dope.
He does have the Cheeto fingers.
He's got the Cheeto fingers, which is fine with me for this case. Not Saber.
I mean, all in all, one. I do think I'm gonna watch it again in Japanese just to get that feel because I don't. The dub was passable. I still need to find out if that's Yuri Lowenthal. I'm going on a fact-finding mission.
Okay. Well, while you do that.
I legitimately think that I would watch this again in Japanese.
Oh, I absolutely will watch this movie again. I actually looked up how much it was on like Right Stuff right after I was done. I just upgraded my computer though, so I'm going to hold off on that. But no, I genuinely enjoyed this movie. It also hits all the beats that, like, if you guys are listening to this and heard our show before, you know what I'm kind of into. It's got that dark and gritty kind of thing. It's a little bit violent, a little bit country. You know what I'm saying? A little bit rock and roll. It just hits a lot of really good points that I love in shows, and it's a nice compartmentalized little hour and a half movie. It's actually an hour and 20. It's pretty short. And it's all the great things I love of like 90s toku. And
other than the dream sequences, it doesn't drag. It's very fast paced. It's an enjoyable movie.
And even the dream sequences, like they're so few and far between. It's kind of like, okay, we're here. That's cool. And she's dead. Got it.
Done. Cool. So, no more.
I highly, highly, highly recommend this movie to anyone who is a fan of Amemiya, 90s toku anyway, or just 90s any sci-fi really, like any Japanese sci-fi. If you enjoyed Lady Battle Cop after we check that out, you will absolutely enjoy this one too. It is the same kind of energy. So that's definitely another one I want to watch again. Lady Battle Cop was pretty dope.
So I was checking out, trying to see if I could come up with this guy. Mm-hmm. And I have not heard of any of these.
Sounds about right for a 90s thing.
Except the guy was, he was in Street Fighter 2.
Okay. Who did he play?
Get this, additional voices.
Okay. Great.
Yeah. He was in Neon Genesis Evangelion, additional voices.
Okay.
Yep. Okay, here we go. So dude was in Rurouni Kenshin. He was Kawaji Toshiyoshi. He was Okubo. Oh, he played a bunch of freaking characters in that. Oh, he's that guy.
Oh, he's one of the police dudes.
He's that guy.
Yeah,
he's an outlaw star.
He's like I've heard that voice, but I've never seen him in anything. Like,
That's why I was so convinced it was Yuri. I'm like, this guy sounds like Yuri. In Naruto, he was Fukagu Uchiha. Tekiya Uchiha.
Is that the dad?
He was also additional voices. This guy is like in everything, but nothing distinct enough.
Yeah, that's Itachi and Sasuke's dad.
Ergo Proxy, Kakashi. He was
an Ergo Proxy. God, I love Ergo Proxy. I gotta watch that again.
Yeah, he was in Moribito, Naruto Shippuden. This dude was in everything, dude.
He's like that one guy from like a whole bunch of 80s and 90s movie. I recognize him from like Big Trouble in Little China, but he's got like the mustache and he's kind of balding head, long hair. You'd know exactly who I'm. He's always like a henchman.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Isn't there a documentary of that guys?
Yeah, like there's a whole documentary of like I recognize that guy or something like that.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, like those dudes. Do they have them anymore? I don't think they have those guys anymore.
I don't know.
They don't have like those recognizable B guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's always the star plus an obvious star that's gonna go nowhere. Not one of those enduring character actors.
You need like the A list and the C list kind of thing.
Like, I think the closest thing we can associate to that is the C-list.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, some of those C-listers become the stars. Like Ryan Reynolds started off as a jackass. You know what I mean? Yeah. Now this guy's like the shit. Yeah. I just watched last night. I was watching The Adam Project.
Yeah, that's by the same one who did like Free Guy or something like that, right? Same team.
Is it?
I think so.
I believe it's Skydance, right? Yeah, but
maybe
The Adam Project was. It wasn't bad. I mean, I think we got Jamal's approval on it, and I checked it out because of that. And I was like, you know what? I didn't find anything wrong with this movie because it didn't try to be anything other than what it was. It was just fun.
Yeah.
Had a bunch of shenanigans in there that you're like, okay. I mean, have you watched it yet?
No, I have not watched it.
Okay, so I'll save that. Check it out. But it really is an enjoyable movie. Like. Yeah, it's nothing great, but you won't not enjoy watching it. Just like Hakaider.
Just like Hakaider. I love Hakaider.
Yes.
Yeah, I did really actually like this movie. But okay, I'll check it out. You never know. Should we get to some news?
Yeah, what's up in the news, man?
So, I guess first off, since you alluded to it earlier, they did announce a Kamen Rider Veil spin-off episode.
Yes.
And they got some screenshots going. You were able to send me a few, and it looks like it is straight up when Papa Igarashi is doing his thing as Veil, and kind of the origin story to the belt and all that kind of stuff. This is, I've talked about needing to watch all of the spinoffs to get the full story. I'm hoping this doesn't have too much, and this is strictly like his story as young Veil. You know what I mean? How they introduce like Naki as a character in the Towser spinoff. Like, yeah. And Naki, not that she was integral to the plot, but like she becomes a fairly major character. And like, it's annoying when she just kind of shows up and you're expected to know watching a spinoff thing. I'm hoping this doesn't do that. I hope it's kind of just like mom and dad and Veil and how they created the belt.
Or do you take, the way I'm taking it now, sorry, is to take the show for what you have it and then choosing to delve deeper.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I'm down for side stuff that like flushes out the lore,
but there's side stuff and then there's crucial. Like
that's what I mean.
This feels crucial to Genta, maybe because we're implying that because of that is the reason the kids are the way they are. I mean, yes, it's one to just say that since the focus is the kids, but if you're gonna give us this is why, then give us this is why. You know what I mean?
That's what I mean. I shouldn't have to go hunt down. Like, if this is going to become integral to his story and plot, other than, he was Kamen Rider Veil back in the day. Like, if there's a character that is going to be integral or something like that, I don't like when that's the kind of thing. I want it to be flavor text. I don't want it to be integral to the story. Like, if I'm going to have a hole in the story because I don't watch this, I think they did a bad job crafting the story, personally. It should be one of those things where, like, okay, we know Veil was a thing back in the day because he was, the first Kamen Rider to use demons, all this kind of stuff. They put the demon in the driver. Cool.
Which is dope, bro. That's a show on its own.
That's what Mark actually just said. Like, he's okay with flashbacks because Veil sounds like it'd be an amazing series by itself. And I agree. I think this sounds great.
The next 25 episodes, dude. Like, fill the dead spaces that since now we're not going to have Kagero and we're not going to have all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Let's fill that gap with dope flashbacks from Genta.
Yeah. And like, but that's just all I mean by that. Like, it should be, if I want to dive deeper into the lore, I can, but it's not necessary to understand where a character is coming from or this, that, and the other. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if the entire point to this character was he was a Kamen Rider, this demon's here, and that's all I need to know to further their story that's happening in the present, I'm okay with a spinoff that, you know, dives into it and, you know, shows us this, that, and the other, how they met, all this. Okay, cool. I'm down for that. I don't need to know that. But if it's one of those things where, like, because of the particular demon that came out of the commander that isn't a commander anymore, and I need to know that because he's going to come back later because he's the real bad guy and the real proprietor, you know what I mean? Like, I shouldn't have to piecemeal a major story. They should be two compartmentalized things if they're going to be a thing, if I have to go to two different places for it.
So it really depends on how the rest of the story plays out in
Exactly.
terms of the next few episodes. But I still feel like this could have been a dope way to tell two stories of the same writer down the road.
Do almost like a Kiva thing where you go back and forth.
Know what, bro? So, okay. Before this revelation, I had wrote the plot for our Tokudon project. One of the characters that is the anti-hero is the inheritor of the same driver of the previous hero that was your character's partner. Damn it.
They know. They watched. I know Toei watches the show. I know you guys watch.
They have my computer's hacked, bro.
I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, like, it's pretty cool. So just for the blurb that they have about it, this story takes place 25 years ago, before the Igarashi siblings were born. A man was brought to NOAA, a scientific research organization, mortally wounded on the brink of death. That man, Junpei Shiranami, had geef cells transplanted into him by Masumi Karazaki and escaped death. He is given the Veil Driver and forced to become the strongest devil hunter, Junpei, whose parents were killed by the Red Devil. Becomes Kamen Rider Veil with vengeance in his heart and continues to fight devils. But, let me scroll down here. Oh, that's it.
But that's the ultimate one. That's that 90s guys. But
interesting. So I don't know who Devil Hunter Junpei is.
That's okay. So I should have said this first. That's Junpei. What was the last name?
Junpei Shiranami, I'm assuming, is the dad's real name.
It's his real name. Yes.
Okay. So he is given the Veil Driver and forced to become the strongest devil hunter. Junpei, whose parents were killed by the Red Devil, becomes Kamen Rider. But, like, I'm just not understanding. Was he a devil hunter before he became a Kamen Rider? Is that what it is?
I think because of it felt like a rehash of Ichigo, where they took him, injected him, transformed him, and became a rider. So it felt like Ichigo again. So that's where I was going with it. I'm like, oh shit, this is just like Ichigo.
Yeah, and that makes sense. I'm just confused on the two different titles. That's all. Like, is he obviously a Kamen Rider Veil, but is he, like, was the strongest devil hunter Junpei his title before he became a Kamen Rider, or is that something different?
I'm thinking because he's going to become Genta, I think, because of whatever happens in this. So
Genta, I'm assuming he's going to get the Stone Heart, all that nonsense.
Yeah, so maybe he was the devil hunter Junpei, which is a fucking amazing title. You should go by that all the time. I wouldn't go by anything else.
Yeah,
not even on my Starbucks cups.
Devil hunter Junpei.
Who's like, smart? It is Devil Hunter Junpei?
Yeah, like, I demand to be known as Devil Hunter Carl from now on.
All caps, thanks.
All caps. All caps. Good lord. That also just reminds me of Devil May Cry, so I'm here for it. Yeah, I'm down. I gotta watch 26 because Mark's talking about how they go over it in 26. You did mention that last week.
Yeah.
I have not watched 26 yet because I only watched up to 25. So I gotta watch that. I'm probably gonna rewatch 25 too. Maybe I'll do that after this.
I will rewatch 24, 25, and 26 just because goddamn. So good.
Cool.
Revice has become so
revitalized.
Intriguing. It's become something I'm looking forward to again. Yeah. Not just like, shit, I missed an episode. Now it's like, shit, I missed an episode.
Yeah. I mean, my thing with the show was never like it being bad, right? It frustrates me sometimes that how good it is because of other things, which I'm not even gonna bother wasting time with it because I've said it a million times at this point. Yeah. And it's background stuff. It has nothing to do with the show itself, especially with Vice in particular. But it's cool. Like, the entire draw to this series from the get-go was like this idea of demons and the alter self, and like I'm a huge Persona shill. Same kind of thing happens in Persona. That's the entire point. Like your inner demons come out. This kind of stuff is like the story beats that I love and I like exploring, because I feel like having that duality to people helps explore a character and flush them out more. And I really love this kind of thing. And just also demons are badass. So I'm here for just about any of that. If you didn't tell by my beard, I like demons and metal things. So that's cool.
Saber was beat for beat every tonal interest that I have, and now Revice is beat for beat every tonal interest.
Exactly. And like I'm here for it, honestly. And if we can get more of that and more, I feel like possibly, and I'm just throwing things out here, this is like plot gun to the sky, I have no idea, but I feel like this idea of Devil Hunter Junpei, Kamen Rider Veil, this might have been the original pitch for Revice. Like,
okay, I see that.
A devil hunter running around, becomes a Kamen Rider, does his thing. I feel like that might have been the original pitch. You know, kind of like how Saber was this wandering samurai, Fist of the North Star kind of thing. I feel like this may have been what they're going with Veil may have been the original Revice pitch. Maybe.
Or like, as many of us do, when we create a story and all of a sudden we catch an idea and flush it out. Yeah. That's probably it too. Like I would say, like, unless, I mean, it really depends on how this Veil story plays out. Because I really hope the mom is more than just the mom. You know what I mean? Like, I really want her to be like...
I want her to be like a devil hunter, honestly, even if she's not a Kamen Rider.
Yeah, like something to the point where, oh, she is actually super damn important.
Yeah. But Garo actually does something similar. Like when they do the Raiga. Is it Raiga? Is that his name? I think so. Tiga's son or Taiga's son.
Ryuga.
No, Ryuga is the alternate timeline. I think it's Raiga. Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The main timeline. His father is a Garo Knight, a Makai Knight, and then his mom is a Makai priest or priestess. That might be Taiga, actually, or Kaiga, whatever his name is. Either way, that might be. My point is, when they combine stuff like that, you usually get a really cool outcome of some kind. And I could also be thinking of a completely different character now that I think about it from the anime. So it doesn't matter. Either way, my point is, you take two really cool things and combine them, and then you could get, all kinds of cool stuff. And they have 3 kids, so like maybe Sakura starts doing more of this devil hunter nonsense if the mom's a devil hunter. Maybe that's why she's switching the weapons out and things. Maybe that's a devil hunter thing. I don't know.
Well, I think they're gonna go with Karizaki was a dick back in the day too, and he betrayed them, which is why he's in the current condition he's in. Mm-hmm. Probably like
I'm going to assume we're going to see why he's wearing a mask and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and that's kind of the point, is like we're going to also get that story in that same thing. So this is absolutely a crucial must in order to get the full text of the story. Yep. So we'll see. I mean, again, if it adds flavor to it, cool. Fantastic. I'm here for it. If it is genuinely like you can't get the full story without this, and by full I mean like a solid story, I think that's kind of messed up. Like Naki is the perfect example. Mark feels like she's going to be a handler or was on the research team. Okay. Ooh. Oh, that would be dope. But then would they really be cool like that? I don't know. We'll see.
But Mark also wants young George flashbacks.
Baby George?
I mean, we got the flash forward in the movie. I got to watch the movie still, but we get the flash forward for 70 years. And then we got the Ichigo, or I should say the 01 stamp because of it.
If he never does get a rider, I really hope that they make a George figure, like an Izu figure. I want a George figure. He's my absolute favorite damn character of the show. Cool.
I dig it.
I can't get enough of him. He's always...
I wouldn't hate a time skip in Revice, honestly. Like, we're getting a lot. I mean, I don't think they will, but like, this takes place 25 years ago. If we get another like 25-year time skip, I'd be down for that.
Old Iki Igarashi.
Old Iki, tired of your shit, Iki.
Bro,
I'd be down for it.
Iki. That would, okay.
I'd be down for that. I don't think that's going to happen, but
but it's fun.
I mean, they could do it like they did it in Old Man Iki storyline. That's what I'm saying. Like the V Cinema we had with Saber, that was 8 years later. Like all the characters kind of mellowed out a little bit. They were a little more, let's say, tolerable, to be nice about it. Like Rintaro was not crying as much. I mean, he was, but it was more tolerable in the grand scheme of things.
I might have to watch Trio of Deep Sin again.
I think time skips are cool. Like, one of the very cool things in a story to me is the progression of time, right? Like, I'm not a fan
of progression of time or evolution of events.
Yes, both.
Okay.
I think they go hand in hand, honestly, most of the time.
I want to say yeah, but
So
yeah.
people change over time, right? So like if your character evolves via time, I'm here for it. Like if we watch a character go from a teenager to an adult and an older adult,
want to see the progression? Don't you want to see that?
Yes.
Or do you want to or experience the moments that lead to those changes?
But you can do both, is my point.
Are you big with flashbacks? Because I kind of prefer to leave it in the moment.
I'd rather jump forward than flashback, personally. Because flashbacks,
Fair.
most of the time, if you know the major beats, you know what's going to happen. So there's whatever.
Exactly. And that's the whole point, is like prequels and flashbacks and all that take away from the sense of immediacy and the sense of danger. It's like there's no presence here. It's just like, this happened once. Do you care? It affects what's going on now. It's kind of like the Genta thing. It affects what's going on now, but either it's really good or it's really bad, and then nothing. You know what I mean? Like, nothing's going to come from the reality of the moment right now. Yes, you tied my mother's shoelace that specific way 25 years ago so that I would recognize it today. You know what I mean? Like, what? Why?
But I also think you can have time skips and things happen to characters off screen that can be more powerful, like not seeing a monster in a horror movie kind of thing. Like if you leave it open, crafted correctly, I think having something like that happen in your brain or the reader's or the experiencee's brain can be more powerful than actually watching it play out.
I see.
I don't know. I am down for open to interpretation, things like that. And it's super intriguing to me as well when I have, say, like an Iki character who's happy-go-lucky, whatever. And if we jump 3 years, 4 years, 10 years, whatever, and he's a miserable old bastard, I want to know why. That intrigues me to keep watching.
I want a special to be made one day where it's the senior citizen versions of all the writers.
Yeah, like you get the movie where they jump 70 years forward, but it's like old Iki now instead. You know what I mean?
But
like
all of them are. Like we're talking about like where we finally sign a contract with Kuga's actor to come back as like this 75-year-old crotchety fuck who's gonna be like.
Are we talking Grandma Cora Sakura right now? Is that what we're talking about? I'm down for it. The next generation, I'm here for it.
Yes. Old tough bro, come on.
That'd be great. I love it. I am so here for it. Other than that, Kamen Rider Veil, that's a thing. We get a new episode of Trigger, which is New Generation Tiga episode Z, which is a Zet crossover, I believe. Ultraman Zet. Getting a crossover for that. And they announced a new Shikocho Seiho for W from the anime. It's that version. And I don't know if we talked about this last time, but they did announce as well a Gokai Silver Memorial Edition.
I think we did, but do it again. Do it again.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure we're getting this one, but I do know we're not getting the O's 10th anniversary driver over here because of licensing things, which I'm assuming from the music that plays.
Like ever? Or will we have to jump loops?
It's a licensing thing. Team Rider said that they're not going to be able to bring it over, so you can probably still buy it from Japanese sellers. But the Memorial Edition of the Gokai Cellular, I'm pretty sure we're still getting because we got the Gokai, the regular standard one. Other than that, I guess there's a new Sentai crossover happening. They announced the cast for that. Zenkaiger versus Kira Major versus Senpager. Yes. I don't know what that is, but that's a thing that's happening.
Senpager? Is it like the old Gaigers?
I have no idea.
Is it just a tribute movie? Probably.
I have no idea. Classic News. So the cast includes the return of Zenkaiger's Keita Amemiya, Atsuki Matsuhiko, Ryo Sakaguchi, Hinami Mori, Ikui Sakibara, and voice talents of it looks like the Zenkaiger gang. Yeah. And then Kira Major's crew comes back as well, and Lupin Red and Captain Marvelous also return.
So Senpai Ranger. Gotcha.
Yeah. So it looks like it's a big old Senpai crossover thing. I don't know what Senpaiger is. I guess it's just, the old peeps.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. So they did announce that as well. And I think that's really it for the news. Not too much because we covered a lot of stuff last week. The Futo anime and all that kind of shtiff. So
which we will be seeing soon, pronto, as soon as it's available. Damn it.
We'll do an episode on that as soon as it launches. And it looks like Sakura also tested positive for COVID, so that might halt production for a little bit. We'll see.
That sucks. So now we're not going to get another slowdown unless they're just going to write her back. You know what I mean? Like write her off the next couple episodes and focus on the dive.
Certainly possible. But I think that is it news-wise. Just double checking one more time. Yeah, there was an interview that came out with the Hirofumi Suzuki, who plays Kiji brother in the new Don Brothers, which I believe we are actually going to check out for next week.
Yes.
Yeah. We're going to check out Don Brothers.
Hearing so things, so I'm going into it with a positive attitude. We'll see. We'll see next week what we think.
I also usually in the first episode they don't get like the full crew together, which I think this is kind of like that too. So if we can get 2 or 3 episodes in and just get the full team and see how they interact with each other, I think that'll be a little more impactful to me anyway. So
definitely, we'll get more than just the flavor of it. We'll get pretty much the idea of where they're going to go. Hopefully,
they did a Don Brothers Deno crossover miniseries apparently. Why?
But the reason why
I know why, but like why?
Well, I didn't want to check it out because I'm not sure if it's still gonna. Does it stick true to his character in the show?
I don't know. Probably. I mean, it's Deno, so it's probably just the Imogen. It's probably not even Ryotaro. Because that's what they do. He's busy making more Kenshin movies, so
more. Why?
I don't know. I thought they finished them too, but I'm sure there's always one in production at this point. They went on to 5. They were supposed to stop it after 2, I think. They went on to 5. Yeah.
No, money. I
mean, they're good. They're some of the best anime adaptations out there, in my opinion. They're actually quite fantastic.
It's the fighting in that is so clean. Oh my god.
Samurai X is one of my favorite anime movies of all time. The original Samurai X.
Fair enough.
And the live action, the beginning, like Rurouni Kenshin, the beginning, is a fantastic interpretation of it. I have some issues with it, but those are surface level, like, oh, I really liked how they did this part in the movie as opposed to, this in the live action sort of thing. But it is a fantastic interpretation. If you're not familiar with those movies, the first Samurai X is how Kenshin gets his scar. If you know what Rurouni Kenshin is, it's how he gets his scar. So it's kind of the origin story to that. They alluded to it in the 4th movie, the final, and then they ended up making a full movie about it. So I was here for it, which in the final,
dope, bro. Everything about
they're so good. Please go watch those movies. They're very good.
You get to watch Deno.
Yeah.
Be even more badass.
Yeah, you get to watch Deno go from like a crying kid to like the biggest badass on the block.
Yeah.
It's
I was
great.
literally like, if he would just henshin.
Yeah. Like if he would straight up just turn into a samurai rider, not even Gaim, just a straight up samurai rider, I would be all for it. I don't know if I sent it
to you. Have you seen, it's like a fan rendition. He made like a Kabuto armor that was like
you did
legitimately, it was so nice.
It was
sick. So clean.
Yeah.
I think I could find it. Hold on. No, I can't. I deleted it. No, but anyway,
just type in Kabuto samurai armor. I'm sure it'll pop up.
It's probably the first thing that pops up. But
it's a cosplay someone made. It's Kabuto in like straight up like SIC Gaim looking armor. It's very cool. Very cool. So yeah, that's pretty much all I got today, my friend. Do you have anything else?
No, actually, I think that's pretty much it. People, please stick around for the announcement of my YouTube channel that's going to come out. I think next week we're doing the kickoff. I have 2 videos that have been finalized, ready to go. 2 creepypastas. It's going to be the creepypasta stuff. Sorry, so it's not Toku related. So I didn't want to plug it too much. But
okay.
It's more of my kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Again, send me any of your stories, creepypasta stories. If you have anything that's happened to you that's a little spoopy, I like that stuff. Send it to 6echoes.se@gmail.com. Let me know. Other than that, yeah.
You can also follow him at 6echoes on Twitter and all that stuff.
I'm at 6echoes at everything, guys.
Yes.
Everything.
So
thank you.
Go ahead and check that out. Yeah, you got to plug it, dude. Come on now. I mean, if we're going to plug non-Toku things, which we might as well, it's our show. We're going to do what we want.
You're right. I just felt
it's
bad,
our goddamn show, dude. Plug it away.
And I hope you guys like me too. So check out the creepypasta stuff. It's going to be called 6 Echoes at YouTube. So once everything is underway, you'll get the plug. Very cool. Very cool. And if you guys are hanging around here, you know what I do besides Toku. We play some fighting games. We check out Elden Ring. I just didn't want to spend another 2 hours talking about Elden Ring, but I could. I actually did put up it's not really a review. It's more of a thoughts after a bunch of hours of Elden Ring. It's on efncool.com. That is fncool.com. You can check it out there. I also have a whole bunch of other articles doing non-Toku things. I had an interview with the Esteban Martinez. He's the big documentor of the FGC, and just a bunch of other articles about the FGC in general. You guys can go check that out. efncool.com. And you can follow me at Twitter, all that other stuff at Kaiju Carl.
And you know, if you're watching this on Twitch, you know where to find me, but it's twitch.tv/KaijuCarl every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. So, that's all I got, my man. You guys have a good night. Catch you guys on the flip side.